We're back after Dynamics versus SeolHaeOne Prince, game number 2. Yeah, Ixu said in the mic check that he was so nervous. So, what's your take on the game number 2 draft? SeolHaeOne Prince, they had better balance with their comp, even though Ezreal and Graves, they're very low in terms of win rate, but well, they had a really good synergy and well-balanced comp. And Wukong itself is a very good, maybe an OP champion. But then Dynamics, they were the team that always had the well-balanced comp, but this time around, they kind of put in Pantheon, which kind of requires a lot of win conditions. They had to keep feeding those Kai'Sa, Pantheon, the bot comp, a lot of kills for them to kind of roll throughout the game, but they weren't able to pull it off during this game. And we can hear from the mic check that Mickey said, I told you Wukong was the answer to Ixu and his teammates, and well, yeah, that was well and truly the answer for SeolHaeOne Prince in game number 2. Dynamics, they did have a control in early game, but we had a very, kind of a little bit of a mistake in this skirmish. So Dynamics players, they were focusing on Twisted Fate, but if they instead focus on the mid-tier 1 turret, maybe they could just raise the turret and Wukong would have failed his TP. But because they had been wasting a lot of time on Twisted Fate with this stopwatch, well, Wukong could get his teleport off, and with this cover from all the other champions, they were able to turn the fight around. So Dynamics was the one that demanded a lot of skirmish wins and fight wins to kind of snowball throughout the game, but it was SeolHaeOne Prince that fight it better than them. And when Graves was taking the Herald, Dynamics was looking for a bot dive attempts, but they couldn't really pull it off. So all throughout the game, they were very indecisive and wasting quite a lot of time. And also, in the last fight, they were feeling the pressure of Dragon Soul, so it was a good news for SeolHaeOne Prince that they were able to steal it away to kind of let the burdens away from their shoulder. And let's move on to the Dragon team fight. So they were just keep saying 5v5 over this Dragon pit, but SeolHaeOne Prince was the one that capitalized on their synergy better than the opponent. Ixu going in, blending a lot of knockoff with his ult, and their synergy for team fight was way better than that of Dynamics. Dynamics, they did take a very early game focus comp, so they should have maybe made a lot of points in the earlier phase of the game, but in the later phase and every team fight, it was kind of a natural result to see. So SeolHaeOne to have had a lot of better edge for fights. So maybe Dynamics, they actually should just pull the SeolHaeOne Prince players to around the Dragon, giving them the pressure of the soul points. But this game, we were able to see Ezreal and Yuumi having a lot of power level. SeolHaeOne evened out the series with this game win, and let's check out who the player of the game for game number 2. It's Ixu who overcame the pressure. Yeah, he was keep saying that he was so nervous all throughout the game at the end of this game, the mic check. And also Mickey replied that Wukong is the answer. Wukong was right, so I mean, Ixu did pull it off really well. The way he piloted this champion was on point. Well, Victoria called him the shy of LCK because Ixu always pulls off some of the off-meta champions, but this time around he went to a very go-to champion, a very well-known OP champion in the current meta, and he really showed up why Wukong is the OP character right now. This contribution during the team fights is on another level compared to other top lane picks. And we could feel that Iksu was feeling a lot of pressure and a little bit feeling small, but I just want him to kind of come back and kind of pull off the play that he used to do in the earlier splits. Iksu almost an unanimous POG for game number 2, so let's check out who will be the winner for this series. Dynamics versus SeolHaeOne.
Thank you so much, Jisun, for the Analyst Desk translation. Once again, I don't know who that lone Mickey voter was, but that was silly. That was silly. That should have been a unanimous vote. For Iksu, he played very, very well, and bouncing back after a difficult one is tough, as is bouncing back after the ability to speak has been severely damaged. Are you doing okay?
I'm doing okay right now. We're going to make it through this one.
Yeah, we are. So LS is having a few issues. He had laser hair removal recently, and we think that maybe there's a bit of a side effect. His face is going a little bit numb, and that is causing his tongue to not necessarily work. So we're going to do what we can for this last game, but it's okay. Brendan, the Valdanalist Valdez, is coming in to save the day for the last series, and we're going to hope that LS can make his face work, because you're going to need to use that, my dude.
We're going to, We'll see what this pick ban has in store for us as Dynamics. We'll see if they elect to just allow Ezreal and Aphelios through again.
Well, Twisted Fate is once again going to be the first ban, as it was in game number 1, followed up by the Varus. And the Yuumi this time is going to be taken away. So we're not going to have to worry about the Yuumi ping pong. There were some question marks on why the heck Olaf Yuumi wasn't the pick when the Kai'Sa was locked in game 2. But that is not going to happen this time around, because Yuumi is not going to be available to be picked. Senna and Varus both gone, and that's exactly what happened in game number 1. Now, Dynamics, do they want to keep the Trundle ban, or do they want to keep the Elise ban? Is the question, and they're going to keep the Trundle.
Yeah. And we'll see if Ezreal or Aphelios gets let through.
Could be just the Aphelios ban.
Yeah.
As FaZe, now Doctor is very good at the champion. And you just may as well not run the do-si-do. But they're going to anyway, because Karma seems to be a little bit too high priority, as Aphelios is going to easily be first picked once again. And the only ban is the fact that Elise is now up. That's the only difference.
Now this could probably mean that Ezreal comes in here. For SP.
And it might also mean that Iksu is not this time going to be picking something like a Wukong, as there's the Kalista, which also snuck through the entire draft in the first game. It was banned in the second one, but is now going to be locked in. See whether this is just going to be bottom lane taken away. They could also take the Nautilus away from the Aphelios, so 200 years under the sea isn't going to be a thing. Works quite well with the Kalista, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see if they just pair it with one of Kalista's common supports. This could also be Kalista top or mid, although that is way less common. The Rek'Sai getting picked up is very confusing.
Yeah.
Because it's running right into the Aphelios, it's what he enjoys.
It might be the, attempting to go for that Zoe Rek'Sai combo. But they may as well have just locked in Zoe Rek'Sai if that's what they were thinking. Maybe not wanting to play that one face up as set. Seen a lot of bans, not so much in this series, and will now be locked away. Very flexible, so it could be beyond playing that one in the jungle. That's where we've seen it mostly here in the LCK. And now Kuzan, biting on his finger. He's trying to figure out exactly what he wants to pick up for one of his players here, and it looks like it's not going to be set in the jungle. It's going to be Olaf again.
This is very surprising because Graves is so good against Kalista and against Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
Just such a good jungle dynamic. And very surprised not to just see that picked up for him, but he elects for the Olaf. And now it looks like SP, they want to just pair Kalista with the Taric. Nope, it's going to be the Thresh.
All right, Kalista Taric very strong, but Thresh is going to offer a little bit more, I guess, safety to the Kalista, being able to utilize the Lantern to get her out of a sticky situation. don't mind it. But actually, come to think of it, if Flawless had locked in the Olaf, Tarek would have been amazing. And that comp would have looked really good. But now we've got a bit of wonkiness. Mostly because Rek'Sai was picked. And on the other side, Olaf being picked without any sort of synergies. Especially with the Yuumi and the Karma both being banned. But speaking of bans, Zoe going to be taken away from Kuzan. And there is the Alawi ban up against Ixu as per usual. I'd imagine that Alawi and Wukong to be banned away here, as there's the Aatrox ban, finally. Do get to see that one.
Well, we'll see what comes in now on R4.
Yeah, Hybrid waiting for his chance to pick, but this final ban still needs to come in. 5 seconds. Just find that Wukong button. Nope, it's going to be LeBlanc. So Wukong can just be picked away by Ixu now if he would like to. But he's not going to do that because Ornn seems to be the decision. With Trundle ban, does make some sense.
Well, Ornn coming in is interesting because even if they try to hard engage onto Dynamics, Aphelios is there.
Yeah.
Set is also going to have fun with this, and they're all short range, they're all hard engage. This is literally the exact thing I tweeted about yesterday, where you don't draft like this into Aphelios, and now Volibear has a very good matchup against Ornn.
Well, we'll see whether Rich has put in the practice as well. This is actually really interesting because we know Rich is not necessarily being a pivot top laner, likes his champions, and Kuzan is going to take the Birdman into the mid lane. So will be set support confirmed, unless it's Olaf support, which I highly doubt. And now Mickey's hovering Zed just to troll everyone.
or maybe,
And instead it's going to be Corki Azir.
Well, when we can't get Ezreal Aphelios, we can get Corki Azir.
Yep.
Know how excited you are.
We need one of them. We need one of them, absolutely. As looking pretty standard here on SeolHaeOne Prince's side. Scaling options in the Corki and the Ornn. Some mid-game power with the Rek'Sai and the Kalista. And some teamfight strength here as well. We'll see how it's going to work out. Dynamics, though, they are getting excited. This is more of a fun comp with the Volibear up there towards the top side, trying to run that lane kingdom into the Ornn. And Beyond did have a very good early game, despite what happened. We'll see whether he's going to be able to do that again up against Flawless here on his Rek'Sai. Flawless, of course, a very notable Rek'Sai player, but I think every jungler in every league is a notable Rek'Sai player. Seems to be the thing, but Flawless does play a heck of a lot of it.
And I think that Dynamics' team composition, I think it's just a lot more well-rounded. And their champions are all answering what the opponents are trying to do, which was sort of unintentional, as the enemy team just drafted right into what they were drafting without almost any care in the world. So this game is mostly going to be evaluated on, can SP manage to get very far ahead in the first 15 minutes? And if they can't, I don't see how they ever realistically beat 200 years.
Yeah, could certainly be rough. But Hybrid and Secret do have a powerful bottom lane duo. The Kalista versus the Aphelios is a different story than the Ezreal versus Aphelios situation. So let's see how it goes as we hop on the Rift for game number 3. And see whether LS's voice is going to hold out. Just to reiterate, guys, LS struggling a little bit with his face turning off. It's slowly shutting down as we go on, and it might be a side effect from surgery earlier in the week.
Yeah, I had it about 55 hours ago.
Right.
And honestly, I streamed since then twice, and I didn't have this problem, and I don't know what... They told me it could be 5 to 6 days. I could experience side effects with numbness.
Okay.
But this is definitely awkward, so bear with me. Everything else is fine.
Yep. It's just going to sound a little bit like his tongue's double the size than it normally is. And that's okay.
Maybe my tongue's freezing.
Someone has to here in the LCK.
Still got my humor.
Yep, there we
Take
go.
a look at it. Take a look at that butt.
Yeah.
Corky.
It's all right. Corky will always manage to make it okay. As it's the animal matchup, and theoretically, a dog versus a bird should probably be in the dog's favor. As we're going to see the bottom laners meet up. As Guga takes a fair bit of damage there. Bone plating helping him out. Just momentarily.
Alright, well, that ward not going to end up being spotted. Beyond and Rich going for an invade onto the red. And you can see Flawless, he's going to start on the Wolves. And wow, okay.
Early exhaust comes in. The Ren slows Guga down. He's down to 100 health. Might have been able to get an extra Ren stack in there, but Hybrid just wanted to make sure he can confirm the trade. As Guga walks into lane, but it looks like we're going to have the Aphelios missing out on all of the experience from these melee minions. And in fact, Guga zoned away from the last one there as well, I believe. It would have been very close.
Well, they do get the exhaust, so it will help with some of the kill pressure that they can maybe have. Flawless just going to go for a full blue side clear. And I really like what Beyond's doing. He steals away Rek'Sai's red side, moves immediately into his own jungle. And even though Secret and Hybrid get some pressure early, you can see Corki shoved under immediately. This is a nightmare situation for the Rek'Sai, because he can't really do anything other than pray and hope that something just goes completely awry. Now, this is in solo queue where you start question mark pinging your jungler, as you have to wonder what is really going on. I mean, if Flawless moves over here, Gugar's here too.
Yeah, he's going to flash in. That's the two-man face breaker. Nice play from Secret, but I don't think it's going to be enough as Flawless does get into his tunnel. The flash in from Beyond, though. In goes Kuzan to try and lock him down, but that is going to be the flash. And now it's Dynamics that are in an awkward spot. Another play is very, very good as Hybrid doesn't quite find the Ren damage, but there it is. Corki grabs that first blood. There's a big bear in amongst this fight now as Rich does have a couple of stacks, and that is going to be the second kill going over to Dynamics this time. Make that 3s. Kills for the fight. As the last one is taken by 200 years. See what I did there? Almost messed that one up, but that was okay. As Mickey almost taken down to about half health.
A lot of this is a byproduct of the fact that Flawless's opening jungle route is really, really prone to this opening route by Beyond. And I really like what he did. The only other option for Flawless would be to accept that he's really far behind, try to go straight to his golems, and then play around that. But at that point, Dynamics are basically playing with map hacks against you because you have limited options. And so now, Dynamics are just going to be so far ahead. Flawless is going to be spotted out again. They know his CS count. Oh, and Beyond doesn't have Smite.
Yep. And Beyond is going to pick up his axe here. As Ixu's going to do his best. He'll break the brittle. Not sure whether he's going to be able to burst it, and he's not. So, no Smite required. And now Undertow's going to land on an Ixu as in comes the bear. Sky Splitter not going to be able to get any sort of slow. But look at this lane state. And I think, you know, you were talking about freezing. Well, Rich just denies a cannon creep and still holds this
honestly, I might be contagious.
Oh, this is extraordinary. This is the sacrifice that you needed to make.
Oh, man.
Your whole face had to stop working to convince people in the LCK that freezing was the right idea. As Rich's passive is going to make it a little bit difficult to hold on to this minion wave exactly where it is, but it's still just going to be really, really rough for Ixu.
Well, finally manages to get the wave in, but honestly, the top lane matchup is very doomed right now. Interestingly, Rich is going for Kindle Gem first. I wonder if he's just going to go Spirit Visage.
I'd like it. It might buff up his W to Kingslayer levels. Get that extra healing back in. I also don't mind having a bit of early cooldown reduction as well on the Volibear, so who knows? Maybe his revolver of choice item is going to be Proto Belt. What about Proto Bear? You ready for Proto Bear?
Oh no. Oh no.
And I mean, this is a good start by Dynamics. And they were able to follow it through.
Yeah. And just a lot of chaos unfolding in this fight. You can see Secret flashing away, going for a hook, only landed on Gugar. And Volibear coming down here with that lightning. Actually, Hybrid managing to hop over the wall, but couldn't really do anything against Duck Dom, eventually getting the kill. And really, the jungle start is really unfortunate for Flawless. It's very hard to play as laners too when this is happening. because you're really just left on your own.
The other really unfortunate thing is that Hybrid and Secret are lane kingdoming like crazy at the moment. They are smashing the Aphelios, but it just doesn't matter. Like, look at the jungle. It's a disaster. Flawless starting up the Dragon now, trying to utilize this bot side pressure that they do have. But otherwise, I mean, their top lane is on fire. It's literally double the CS right now, and Rich is just solo zoning Ixu out of all of the farm that he'd want to. So Cloud Drake goes over to SeolHaeOne Prince, but who cares? It's Cloud Drake.
Yeah. And now Mountain's going to come up second. 7 minutes into the game, so very early Dragon capture.
Yep.
And Beyond, meanwhile, stealing away. And like you said, it's only Cloud Dragon, so not the end of the world for anything. And take a look at the top lane CS deficit here.
Oh my god, and mid lane as well. Kusan is smashing Mickey.
Lane kingdoms going on everywhere. Now, meanwhile, down in bot, Hybrid.
Oh, that's a great hook, but Secret's not going to follow up. They're reading the map here.
Oh!
He's going to pop himself out. Oh my god, the Sky Splitter coming on down. Gets himself the shield, and Rich just wanders away. This is what we wanted to see out of the Volley Bear. Wanted to see some rage, you know, some lightning. And Rich is going to demonstrate it for us.
Top lane is just so over. And Ixu really losing to Shopkeeper here too. Has the bombies first, so he spent 900 gold for 50 extra HP. A little bit of burn damage that he can't really utilize.
Yeah.
And it's not going to do a whole bunch. I'm very interested to see what Rich is going to be purchasing.
It was a tear for a second.
Yeah, I don't know where this build is going. It looks like he's going into Trinity Force now.
Yeah, could be. You've already told us, not exactly a huge fan of that one. As the Stormbringer stopped any issues with the turret.
Honestly, when that Volley Bear skin looks like the monster from the village.
Yeah, I know.
You ever see that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And actually, when you see the monsters...
If it had a yellow chroma.
Yeah, it would actually be exactly that. I actually liked the village before you saw whether there were any bad guys at all. It was a great movie.
Yep. Yep. One of the last really, really good ones that he made.
So too. Okay, Rich is going to hold on to the minion wave once again. And Ixu will once again be behind half the CS of the Volley Bear. I think that Ixu just forgot to have his armor on. And now we're seeing what an Armored Bear can do. I keep making a lot of his Dark Materials references. It's my favorite series of all time. And it does have Armored Bears in it. If you guys want to, there was a series recently remade after The Golden Compass was so terrible as a movie. But the new series is actually quite good. James McAvoy, very, very talented.
And it seems here that bot lane is the one hope that SP can maybe have in this game. 2 minutes until Mountain comes up, and the Volley Bear is just going to be completely out of control. It seems like Ixu knows the jungler's up here. Rift Herald's going to take all the plates. I think the Ixu's dead.
Yeah. He's either dead or he's like just going to keep losing horrendously large amounts of farm.
I thought they were going to go on him.
Maybe it's like a gentleman's agreement. It's like, stop it, he's already dead type situation. Because it's what it's sort of feeling like here. As I don't think you're even allowed to say something like, don't worry guys, we've got the late game. Because this is starting to really accelerate. Cougar, nice Q to get out of the way of the hook. As SeolHaeOne Prince, at least they have bottom lane, right?
Well, at least they do have that. That is going to be the only hope they can rely on. Kalista is going to need to pop off in the team fights, but it's going to be really hard to do that with Volley Bear jumping on you, trying to slow you, and then also just having an Udyr stun in his kit. Pretty nice.
He does. The Udyr stun definitely better than the Swain Q, as someone spoke about on Reddit. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. But you know, Sky Splitter looks terrible when your Volibear is extraordinarily far behind. Maybe it's going to look better now because Swain Q doesn't give you a shield. Sky Splitter does. So there you go. That's my defense.
True.
For Rich's E.
Oh,
and now
he's
he's
a big trade.
Yeah, running at him yet again. Tries to get his way out with the Searing Charge. The exhaust going to be utilized. And Ixu now realizing that he has absolutely no right to walk out into his minion wave.
And he uses the exhaust there not because he's expecting value out of it, but because the teleport, he wants to have that available.
All right. Oh, that was actually very cute from Beyond. He walks away and then realizes, well, maybe I can just kill Flawless, even if Secret is here. And possibly could have if that was his initial thought, but decided to play it safe beforehand. Troll Ward coming in here as the hook is going to land onto Guga. Wanting to charge up that crit just a little bit as now the teleports come in. Showstopper in towards the backside. Haymaker does a lot of work, but Flawless is going to survive for the moment. Call of the Forge God comes in and Ixu can't get back to his ram. It just runs away from him. And yet again, it's going to be Ixu falling down. Conquering Sands comes in. Mickey has to Valkyrie to get himself to safety as Rich is a big, scary bear. And Secret and Hybrid, I don't think they're going to have enough here as the hook is going to come through. A lot of sticks into the bear, but it's just going to be a Mountain Drake taken an Ocean Soul this game with both teams. An opportunity to pick up 3.
The Mountain Dragon getting taken is a little bit annoying for SP because none of their champions really build any pen whatsoever. So even though it's small amplification, it's still meaningful.
Yeah.
In the slightest. 5 minutes now until that ocean. And this is really the stage of the game where you start to try to look for freezes because there's not a whole lot that you can actively do. As they are going to be moving towards Nasher's Tooth now. Volibear making his way back up the top lane. Very, very big wave.
Yeah, if he actually froze that wave, Ixu could do nothing at all for another 5 minutes. We're going to have a look at this fight one more time. Like the Showstopper, Guga's actually been playing quite effectively on this set, as Rich was unable to find too much value, but did get some flashes. And in the meantime, Ixu died. She could understand. I mean, Hybrid is smashing this lane. 36 CS is no mean feat.
Yeah. He's doing a really good job. Also has a couple of plates for himself.
It's his third to come in. One in the mid lane and all of them on top side. See, Dynamics certainly controlling the upper side of the map as Rich is looking to make his way in. And Mickey, not sure what he can do here. That was a cute little Valkyrie over and flashes to get himself the rest of the distance. Now Ixu not going to be able to find that knock-up. The bear is on the wrong side this time around, but it's a 1-for-1. Corki is also going to fall as in goes Beyond. Now Secret and Hybrid turn up. The box goes down and Sword. Sorry. Sword? Sword's not in this game. Beyond is very dead.
You saw Ornn.
I saw Ornn.
That's what you were thinking. I totally get it.
Yeah. There's some mean things to be said there. That was actually just me saying sword for some reason. I don't know why
I said that sword. My numbness is...
It's certainly, it's contagious.
It really is.
I think so. Why was I saying so? I don't know.
Well, no matter what, it is still a 3,000 gold lead almost for Dynamics. Trinity Force has been completed on Volibear. 2.5 minutes until the Dragon will end up coming up. Corki almost has his call.
Yeah, it's got a package available as well.
I wish I could do my Mickey Mouse impression, but I can't like this.
Dang it.
This won't work. In a future series we cast, coming.
All right, good. We get that Mickey Mouse bit. It's one of the, it's actually an impression that Achilleos was really good at. You guys remember back to when he was commentating in the LCK, he is a fantastic Mickey Mouser. We don't get to hear it enough, though, and now I feel like really sad that I get denied another Mickey Mouse impression. You know?
Yeah. Well,
like you guys also grew up in similar areas.
Where? I was Rhode Island.
Yeah, you were Rhode Island. He was New Jersey.
Oh, yeah. That's about 5 hours.
All right, still, it's not too
bad.
Not
that bad.
Yeah. Closer than Australia. As we're going to have a look at this one once again. The flash in from Rich did not work, but it did get the Valkyrie out and the flash from Mickey. And then, Bear's in the wrong spot.
Yeah, the Volibear, they're just really trying to force things for no reason. I really like this one, where Beyond turns back around. Kruger says, no thanks.
Yeah.
And Nazir lives to see another day.
On your own, buddy. As in goes Shirley, and she's going to bonk down this mid-outer turret. And it's going to be Dynamics continuing to reign supreme when it comes to these objectives. Their dragon better than the dragon of SeolHaeOne Prince, but better than game 1 for them. As man, the value of these Rift Heralds is just absurd.
Yeah, they keep getting pretty good charges here in mid. And you can see Rek'Sai, meanwhile, trying to steal away the red side jungle, away from Beyond. Dragon's up in 30 seconds. This is going to be another very important fight.
Oh, he's going to interrupt the back. There it is. Not going to be able to follow as Beyond does have flash in a couple of seconds. I don't know where Flawless is going to be able to go. He does manage to get that next tunnel. And Beyond's not going to opt in for the flash over the wall. This hybrid is spotted. Beyond's going to get out. A little bit robbed was Beyond, but still wastes a lot of Flawless's time.
Oh, Ixu couldn't quite get the recall stop. And now Ocean.
Oh, that didn't work. That's all right. A bit sheepish is the pigeon, as our hybrid will take down Sir Grompulus McGromptons, or whatever his name is. Look, man, I miss Bertha, dude. Why did she have to leave?
Maybe she'll rejoin us after Worlds.
I hope so.
Yeah.
There's Bramble Vest now being completed by Rich. The Build-A-Bear Workshop has never been so appropriate.
Yeah, and there's a lot of magic damage on the enemy team, so Spirit Visage wouldn't be super bad. Rich gonna get zoned off the Gromp.
Yep. Would have been Agatha if she hadn't left.
Well, Kuzan just trying to raise the bottom tier 1 turret, and then it's just gonna be a lot of farming. And so we shouldn't really expect another team fight until the next dragon comes up. And at that point, you should still favor Dynamics, because Aphelios will have so much value in the team fight.
Yeah. And also have protection, and the Ornn is still far behind. Although, to Ixu's credit, he's somehow within 10 CS of Rich. And now they're looking to once again punish the bear. Hook is not going to land. Knock up not going to come in. Rich is still going to press R because he's a little bit frightened. And he emotes with the sad B to show that he didn't need to press that button.
And now Rich could just go for a freeze, but nope. Gonna summon down the lightning.
Yeah, we ain't freezing.
Yeah,
there's too much to do on the map.
Yeah.
Too much. Too many options. It needs to be a lot of places.
Lot of solutions.
Yep.
Is what's going on. Black Cleaver almost completed this time for Olaf, and I find that so interesting because normally they just go for the Warmogs builds over and over, but this one is going to have a bit of off-tank to it.
I don't mind the Black Cleaver here, just when your Aphelios is struggling to do the damage that he otherwise would. Allow that to augment, as Beyond will be basically throwing himself into the enemy team. See how many applications he can actually get. He can reliably get a few pretty fast with the spamminess, assuming you can land your undertows. This hybrid bouncing around, takes away a Merkwolf, and will now look for his Runan's Hurricane as he goes back to the shop. Dr. a little bit behind when it comes to that particular item, which he will want to be completing as well. Yeah, like we were saying, hybrid does collect his first 2 items. It's exactly the power level that he wants to be at, and 2.5 minutes early before this next Drake. Dynamics wanting to threaten yet another Ocean Soul, or Dragon Soul, I should say.
Yep. And I think at this point, it's just about waiting and being patient, and it's going to be on Mickey to somehow poke the opponents down before the team fight takes place. And if they can do that, and if Dynamics for some reason run into SP, then it'll be very good. But if they try to initiate with Horn Ultimate, or a Thresh Hook, I think it's always going to be pretty disastrous for them.
still. Minute and a half as Rich wanders over a ward. Control of this bottom side area is going to be very important. So being able to take this Rift Scuttler will be very, very good. That's what Rich is going to start doing now. The rest of Dynamics move on in. Flawless wants to get that steal desperately, but it's Beyond that comes in, smites it away. Preyseeker connects onto Guga, and no one is too worried about it. So vision that can't be removed, now guaranteed for this Ocean Drake on Dynamics side. Now, Rich just dives at the minion wave. Ixu thought that maybe he was gunning for him. Doesn't happen in the end, but is able to deny that cannon creep. Mickey's strong, Hybrid is strong. As far as like power spikes are concerned for this next Dragon, SP do have carries in good positions. Whether it's good enough is going to be the big question, as Dr. did go back and complete a Zeal, but that is not a Hurricane. And that's what he really wants.
Nazir already has his second core. Dr. Gonna have the red buff for this team fight. And
yeah, 30 seconds.
Yeah, we're not gonna have both his ornaments, which is big.
Oh no. Yeah, just one of them does have Forge Fire.
This is truly a Build-A-Bear, by the way.
I know. And he's a bear. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Still has over a 2,000 gold lead, as the hook's going to land onto the Olaf, but he does have Ragnarok. Rich is in the area as package is delivered to the river by Mickey. Not ideal. Rich has teleport though, so he's looking to try and get a flank teleport back into this fight. Secret misses the hook. Beyond is still on about half. And now we've got the river ram. Started off.
Comes Holy Bear.
Yep, in he goes. Looking to try and dive that backline. Immediately gets interrupted as Hybrid bounces over the wall. That's a great bait call out from Secret as Rich flashes. Gets on top of Ixu, who's been exhausted, but still will make his way out. Somehow, Secret threads the needle as in goes Kuzan. The flash forward. The immediate obliteration of the Corki. And Secret can't stay up either. This will be Soul Point going over to Dynamics.
And so Dynamics, they bring the game to potentially being able to be won in about 5 minutes. And that will be the final team fight over that Dragon. Well, maybe not the final one if SP win it, but now Dynamics, they're gonna get the Baron, they're gonna kill the Blast Cone because they're not Fnatic.
Kuzan's actually over this wall. They do spot Flawless out. Conquering Sands might just kill him. As Ixu's gonna get the knock up. Guga's in position though. They will have the ulti. Facebreaker first. The Rek'Sai does fall down, and Guga's just happy to tank. Right now, they are buying time more than anything else. And Hybrid, although he had a great laning phase, just feels like he can't do anything. And Mickey teleports extremely late for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
Trying to catch backs, I guess. Like it's for a reason, but it's not a reason that we was able to actually capitalize on.
Sitting on so much gold at this fight. And take a look at Bully Bear, by the way. He comes in, he literally does nothing. He draws a lot of aggro, but ultimate no damage, just ends up having to flash away, and Flawless almost able to kill Rich, but not quite. And then Duckdom dishing out some damage, but Kuzan, he goes in with a really good Shurima shuffle.
It was so close to being able to take down the Kalista as well. I didn't notice that.
This was really good. The control ward, Kuzan acting as the gatekeeper, and then fortunately, because of that Scryer's Orb, sees that Rek'Sai's there, goes in onto him and kills him. Baron picked up, everyone piling so much gold. And what is that I see on Nazir?
Oh my goodness, what a lovely mask. This is what happens. You have to lose control of your face and then people learn. As the salesman himself is able to reign supreme. Black Cleave is done for both of our junglers. And that Runon's Hurricane that we were talking about is in as well, as Deadman's Plate's done for Guga, so he will be able to close gaps pretty quickly. Runon's Hurricane completed on to, sorry, Runon's Hurricane. That is a Randuin's Zone on Rich. And I was talking about, there are a couple of Runon's Hurricanes, but they're not the ones we were talking about, as Kuzan has a lot more experience than anybody else in the game, and has now taken down a top outer turret. Dynamics crashing on towards inhibitor turrets now, as the Sun Disc has been erected on the top side of the map by Kuzan. Hook is going to land there, but it's onto Guga. Maybe this is what he wants. There's the Facebreaker. Haymaker does so much work as well, as Ixu just going to find the gap there. That is 6 points in my country. As now Rich, he's galloping. Is that what bears do? Not entirely sure.
No.
What do? They I should probably focus on the fire. As we've got a bit of a siege going on here. As Doctor does have Graviton. Calibrum there as well for some extra range, but will have the CC ability. And yeah, you can see SeolHaeOne Prince desperately trying to take down that siege minion, and they do so as Flawless in position for a flank, but they only knock up one target, remember. Doctor just gets a bit of poke onto Hybrid. They don't want to push too far. As Rich does spot the Rek'Sai. Thank you very much, observers, for giving us that knowledge.
And I like, they're taking it very slow. They're playing it very safe. They have a 7,000 gold lead right now. Flawless losing a lot of HP. Not a good look.
Nope.
They almost have mid-tier 1. It should die on this push. And remember, Volibear can just turn the turret off.
That hook once again lands on the Guga, but that seems like what they want as the Moonlight Vigil is going to land. First kill is onto Hybrid, and that, you know, that means that this fight is over. Dynamics will be taking this series. It's 9,000 gold in the end, as well as Mickey, the last man standing. Sky Splitter for fun there from Rich as the package delivery. That is not what you want. And Dynamics will be able to take down the Nexus turrets very comfortably. Dynamics, they do turn it around. This is actually great news for them. Against Afrika, they weren't able to bounce back after a loss. This time, they shore up their issues, and they're able to take down SeolHaeOne Prince in the end. So they move up to 2-1 here in the LCK as our newest promoted team.
Yeah.
That is definitely good news for our rookies, although none of them are really rookies outside of Doctor. But the team is a rookie team. Are you even allowed to say that? God, it's confusing.
It absolutely is. As honestly, they did throw in game number 2. They were super far ahead, so I feel like this was a very decisive victory.
Yeah.
And if you're Dynamics, you probably feel pretty good about this, because the question we had is, where do they really stand in the middle of the pack?
And I don't think you know. I think it's a fight for the 5th place for a lot of teams at the moment. I think there are, I mean, I know it's weird to say 5 teams, but I think it's everyone outside of Sandbox, I guess, that's looking like they're trying to get up towards that 5th spot.
And
seems to be the only one.
Hanwha Life are looking really shaky too.
That's very true. Yeah, so either of those two maybe not are going to be vying for that position, but Han will get a chance to prove themselves in our 2nd series of the night. They'll be taking on KT. And KT were the original owners of that 5th place.
That's true. We'll see if KT can manage to bounce back when that series does end up happening. I gave the player of the game to Cruzon. I thought his Azir play was pretty good. Ended up winning them that fight, dishing out so much damage. Yet again, doing very well during laning phase too.
Yep. I think honorable mention goes to Rich, who pilots the Volibear and actually succeeds. And I think that he's probably going to get player of the game, let's be real. He won on Volibear and he's new. And it's exciting.
There it is.
And he looked like a terrifying Wicker Bear as well, which also helped out. It's always good to put fear into the hearts of your opponents. And that certainly worked out. To maybe not even just his opponents. I need to shout out to LS, who gets my player of the game, because even though his face didn't work properly, he is still here and stuck through, because there's been times where his face has been working just fine and he still leaves the desk. Thankfully, the gameplay hasn't driven us to that point, and hopefully you're going to be okay, my man, because it's not good news.
This is just uncomfortable, that's all it is.
Yeah. It happened to me when I had my wisdom teeth out, but
yeah.
I think that was an anesthesia situation.
Well, this was the opening too. Cruzon able to be there first, and remember, this was a byproduct of Flawless starting solo Wolves, having his red side stolen by Beyond, who knew he could get back to his red side, and then just threaten to 2-level lead the enemy Rek'Sai, and the game really falls apart right there. This is a very easy dive. Ixu doesn't have level 6, tries to do whatever he can, it doesn't matter. Volibear's ultimate disables the turret, and remember, Volibear came in after the Orange, right? And that is actually a matchup that is Volibear favored. Volibear should be used as a counter pick because he has a lot of very bad matchups.
Right. And Ixu just wanting to You know, try it out, see whether Rich was prepared for the matchup, which I don't mind, you know, that sort of mind game, and especially when you're a player like Ixu, who does like to capitalize on things like that. Certainly an opportunity. But it got messy a few times in the middle, but this time it was Dynamics that were able to right the ship.
Yep. This little bit of a blunder right there. But this team fight, Kuzan eventually able to get in and deal so much damage. Ixu goes down.
Oh. Yeah.
And Sharima Shuffle.
Very close to Hybrid falling as well, but all they needed to do was guarantee the dragon, and it was all okay. All pretty elementary towards the end.
Yep.
I mean, Kuzan from over the wall allowed him to be able to get in there and defend. They completely zone everyone away from the Baron. And from that point on, it's a pretty comfortable siege, splitting between top and mid.
Honestly, in both of these, or in all three of these games, Dynamics' ability to just get a small lead and then balloon it was very, very good. Obviously, in game number 2, they threw it back over to their opponents. Kuzan dealing a bit of damage.
Yeah, being able to out-damage an Aphelios by over double ain't too bad, although it's not exactly something you want to brag about when he's on your team. But doing 3,000 damage to the second highest in the game is a fantastic performance. So I agree with you. I think Kuzan definitely deserving of that player of the game. But watch it go to Volibear. That's all I'm saying.
What?
It's going to go to Volibear. What do you think? No? You think we're gonna do what's right? Well, let's just hope so. We are going to see who is going to collect it very, very shortly. And just know that LS's vote was for Kuzan, the correct choice in this particular game. But I still have a feeling. I have a feeling. I don't know. I want to see who votes for what. Sometimes in these final games, you don't get to see who voted where.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see.
Oh! Oh my god. I don't want to spoil anything, but...
Yeah, you do.
We're going to find out soon. It's happening. I think. I don't know. They're setting up for the interview. We need to find out who actually won the POG.
Well, ultimately, I think if you're SP, it probably feels a little bad.
Yeah.
To have losses like this, and Hybrid never really got to come online.
No, and I mean he had a great laning phase. That's the thing that was really, really sad. Like he played the Kalista very, very well. I actually think that Hybrid and Secret had a good game, but I think their top side of the map, like Mickey's dice, didn't quite work in games 1 and 3, and that's just sad. You can't just be flipping coins on all this stuff. Plus, Rek'Sai looked absent as it is, of course. Like I said, I'm sorry, dude. It's Rich.
Can't win them all.
You can't.
Can't win them all.
Although Rich has won a lot of them.
Yeah. And, well, he did Lane Kingdom him once again. Massive CS deficit. And just, even in the team fight, Volibear didn't really do a whole lot in this one.
I think what you said was, look at Volibear doing nothing.
Yeah.
That particular point in time. As let's get the actual player of the game highlight. That's good.
Yeah. There's the ult, disabling the turret. And the end of the game happened very swiftly.
Yep. And look, he did absolutely crush the lane. So that certainly is deserving of something. But definitely honorable mention goes to Kuzan for having a very good game. It means now we get a solo interview with Rich as well. So we get to hear about, you know, his experiences with the Volibear and that sort of stuff. And it means that Casterjon's going to be able to drill him for all of the sweet tips that you're waiting to hear. So I think it's time to throw it over to Jisun for some interview translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jisun with the interview translation, and we'll be hearing from the solo POG, Rich from Dynamics. You won the promoted team's derby. How do you feel? Well, I made some mistakes in game 3, so I thought Kuzan will pick it up. But happy that I'm the solo POG, and I was so worried about this series, but it's a big relief that we got this win. What were you worried about? Well, both bot players, they prefer Aphelios. Also, Hybrid is really good at all the different ADC champions, so we weren't really sure about Aphelios matchup, but I was happy to see Aphelios open for our side. But I want to ask you about Volibear. They played it and you also picked it. So how do you rate this champion currently? Well, it has a lot of counters, so you cannot just blind pick it. But whenever they have a just like flat bruiser or melee champion, it's actually really good into those kind of picks. So yeah, you played against Ix's Volibear and then you played it in game 3. Like you were saying this, I'll teach you how to play Volibear. Is that kind of vibe into that pick? Well, just a little bit because, well, Ixu had a very weird build in game 1, so kind of, but it was more because it was really a good champion into Ornn. In game 2, you guys went for a very extreme comp, Kai'Sa and Pantheon. Is that based on your scrim result? Yeah, if we could just roll the snowball without any mistakes, we thought that Kai'Sa is better than Ezreal, but with that mid-dive attempt, we had a lot of mistakes, so we kind of allowed the opponents to have the momentum, and that was the main reason we failed. So, how do you feel when the teams ban Aatrox away from you? But at the same time, how do you feel when the teams kind of let it through the pick and ban phase? Aatrox is just like, okay, champ. So because I lost the game on Aatrox in game 2, I believe that teams, the opponents will really pay too much attention about this champion. So do you feel like extra confidence or pressure about this champion, or do you think that's just like an okay? I mean, Aatrox is just one of the meta champions. It's not that it's really a great champion or an OP. It's just, I just play it quite well. By taking down Korean Prince, you guys have 2 wins so far, and your next opponent will be Hana Life Esports, who will be playing later tonight. How are we going to prepare for that? Well, Hana, they have a very strong bot duo, but I think we can win with the top difference, so we will do our best in that series. Are you worried about your bot lane a lot? Well, it's not that, but sometimes, well, I'm a little bit worried. So this will be the end of the interview with Rich, the solo POG of today, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, and great to hear from Rich there, who had some thoughts on the Volibear and Ixu's build. You know, Gunblade's okay, but unfortunately he just didn't build the right utility items alongside it in order to make that one work. So Rich illustrating to us that it was picked as a counterpick to Ornn shows that Dynamics do have a bit of an idea of how to make him work as effectively as possible. So that is certainly good news moving forward, especially considering the fact that they have to play against the 8th place team after this. They've now moved up to 4th at 2-1, but all the other teams have a couple of games yet to play. We'll see how everything is going to settle as the week goes on.
And Dynamics have another pretty easy matchup coming up against Hanwha.
Yeah, exactly. So that shouldn't be too hard for them. We'll have a look at how Hanwha is performing after their first week woes as they go up against KT after a decent break, but not too long, guys. It'll be about 40 minutes, something like that. So you can go off, do some push-ups, something like that, you know, make yourself a sandwich. Maybe that's going to be better. Go to the shops, buy a drink or 3. You know, there's some options. I mean, you know, orange juice. But let's just go to a short break and we'll be back for KT versus Hanwha after this.